Today is yet another day with Uncle Jerry. If you've not listened to the last interview we had with him, I will entreat you to go and have a look at that interview before even listening to this. But if you've not subscribed yet to our channel, when you listen, when you watch our videos, you just subscribe. And then you can share to other people as well. You just click on the button at the right side of your video, and then we continue from there. Today, the topic we have with Uncle Jerry is, do men go through abuse? And then we will mix it with some of the issue of why we are told not to show up our emotions as men. So let's all get back to Uncle Jerry, and then we will start with him. Hi, Uncle Jerry.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
I hope you have had your shot already.
Last one Friday.
Last Friday?
Yes, the second shot on Friday.
So how was it?
Pretty good. No side effects.
No crying?
No, none.
No fear?
No
because
fear.
Some people like me, I fear needle a lot.
No,
so
not at all.
Maybe. Well, that's
I was a nurse, so I know what needles are like. Yes.
You have the experience.
Experience, yes. Yeah.
That's nice. Mm-hmm. So this is part 2 of our interview with you, and we are very happy, especially for the part 2 section that you have agreed to talk about. So as I introduce myself and I introduce today's topic, we'll go straight and I'll ask the first question. Do men go through abuse?
Yes.
When and how?
Lack of communication sometimes cause men to go through. Women become frustrated, and sometimes the only way they seem to be able to reach you is by expressing themselves in different ways.
Oh, have you gone through abuse before in life?
I have, yes.
In what way?
I've been struck with a fist.
How?
The person become pretty frustrated with me because I would not remain to have a confrontation, verbal confrontation. I just had enough verbal confrontation. We get nowhere. And the person traps you and actually physically pin you against the door. Says, well, in order for you to get out of here, you got to knock me out of the door.
So what happened?
Well, you're stronger than the woman, so you grab her and you move out the way and you run away. I was confronted in a pharmacy by a woman that came up and just confronted me and was ready to attack me there. She used a few abusive words. I didn't respond and I walked away, so she attacked me then.
Do you think it was because of your color?
It was a native lady.
Native?
Yeah, she just came up and says, you're ugly, you're ugly. You're ugly, and she keep following me around, and I keep moving away. And then I ran, and the other ladies and everyone looked in the store. They thought, why, as a man, why is he running away? Why don't he defend himself? And but the law here requires you to, if you can avoid a confrontation, to avoid it. It takes longer to go to court and clear yourself than it is to walk away from issues of that nature. So you do that in any situation you can find yourself, even among your wife or your children. If you're confronted, it's better to walk away until they're cooled down, till that individual cools down, and come back and attack it if you want to. But it doesn't pay, you don't win. You do not win by standing up and actually bodily fight with someone.
So you walk away?
You walk away. You have to learn to step away.
As a man?
As a man. Sometimes we think because the woman raised her voice, you could raise your voice even higher to subdue that individual. That's not the way. You raise your voice, they'll raise theirs, and that's where the issue escalate. If you can be calm and back away from that situation, give it time, you can succeed.
Well, you said something earlier on that those around they were asking the question that, why are you not showing your mouth? Like, why are you showing that you are this?
Yeah, why not? They want to see that. Some people are waiting for a fight. They want to see it. If you're in the public, they want to see you defend yourself as a man.
Were you affected?
No, Not at all. I felt good
Why?
by avoiding it.
Okay. So I'm talking about you are affected in a way that when they were telling you, why are you not showing up as a man?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel anything?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I felt good. I felt good by not actually responding. You don't have to stoop to the level of others, even to the attacker. You have to be more of a man to walk away from it than it is to openly go into it. Whether it's your wife or your children or who, it is nice if you can back away and allow the situation to be calm, because you really don't know what is in the other person's mind at that time. Why are they acting like that? Why are they? There could be other circumstances that why that individual is acting like that.
There could be some
Yes.
circumstances that
Yes,
why
could be.
individuals are acting that way.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to attend or ask some questions. If
Yeah,
there's,
they are, and a lot of time they are undertowing circumstances that cause that individual to act that way.
So, to you, what is the best way to approach some of these issues?
Sometimes you have to get help. Sometimes, in your case, let's use the word, if it's my wife.
Mm-hmm.
If it's my wife or my daughter or someone close to me, it's better because you got to live with that individual after.
Yeah.
So if you abuse that individual, how do you come back and really get that love and affection from that individual when you manually abuse them, fight them and beat them up? Don't you think if you walk away and approach it in a different way, that you can win that person over? Your wife or your children or whatever, you can win that, or another man, you could win that person over by not really hurting them or not really going through that. It takes a better man to walk away in that way than him to fight. Because a lot of times, as you said, that fight, you don't really know why it's coming on.
Yeah.
You don't know what the origin of it is. And so you got to walk away and evaluate your situations.
So, let me bring this to family.
Yes.
Do you think men also go through abuse in a relationship?
Yes, a lot of men are abused by their wives. The situation right now, where the economy is of such, that man at this present moment cannot is out of a job. Financially, the house is in problem. They can't supply their needs. They can't pay their bills. They're frustrated.
Yeah.
Very frustrated. A lot of divorce happens right now. A lot of suicide happen right now. Because those two individuals never really sit down together to reason out what went on.
What do you think are some of the main issues why this abuse of men in a family, in relationship is happening, especially with the immigrant family or black family?
We want to, most of our women, when they go out in society, they want to look like everyone else. They want to be like everyone else. And sometimes we don't have the financial means because we are struggling when we come here as immigrants. We don't have any parents to support us.
Yeah.
We are on our own. And so it means that both of you have to start on your own. And we don't have our parents to lend us that much money or to help us with that money or to help us with a down payment and other things. We are struggling.
So...
And that causes some stress, I suppose.
Yeah. Stress.
It causes a stress between both. Stress, and some of us have a hard time controlling it.
As a man?
As a man. Because at that time you are classed as the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
And you deserve your partner and you to sit down and resolve it. And a lot of times you can't reach that individual because we're thinking on different wavelengths when it comes to our finances at times. Some women are far better than us.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
How do men feel if the woman is making much money than the man, but the demand is still higher?
Let me give you an instance about me.
Okay.
My wife works at the Southern Nursing Home.
Mm-hmm.
I was working as a bricklayer. The bricklaying union paid for my dentures, paid for everything at that time. My name was at top on the list of paying out papers. Then all of a sudden, my bricklayers union don't pay it anymore. I went self-employed, and my wife was paying it. And she says, my name should be on the top. So I'm saying, okay, if that's how you feel, get them to change it. Phone the government and says, put your name on top and mine below. I don't care.
Does it make a difference?
It doesn't make any difference to me, but it made a difference to her. Because she felt that she was the breadwinner or she was the one paying it.
So now when it's time for you to pay, you're the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I get it.
So she felt that way, and I said, that bothers you? Well, have it change. It doesn't matter to me. So I stepped down. I didn't fight and said, look, it's going to stay there or whatever, and be the macho man. No. I said, if it pleases you, get it changed.
Okay.
You know, you got to give.
I know we men, we go through all these things, but we don't talk about it.
No, we sometimes, a lot of men are ashamed to let others, well, we don't really want anybody to know what goes on in our homes. What goes on between a wife and a husband should stay in that home.
Yeah.
And that's how some of us feels. However, sometimes if you cannot resolve the problems, don't fight. There's counseling.
Who should counsel you?
Sometimes you got a minister, if you trust your minister in your church. The government has marriage counseling and those type of things. They can help you.
Okay. And this leads me to one very important question that most guys, even men, goes through. Why are we told to man up and not to show our emotions?
I was never told that, and I don't believe in it. We are human beings. And when you get married to someone, it's a 50-50 relationship. And so we haven't got the rights to say, look, I am the man, I'm the macho man. The Bible might have said the man is the head of the home, but at the same time, in modern society, it don't work like that. Because the woman is outside making as much money as you, sometimes even more.
Yeah.
She's got more responsibility to you than you think, because they're the ones that do the cooking, the washing, the looking after the kids. I find that I just make the money and I give it to my wife, because she was handling it better of looking after the home than I was. I only sleep here. She lives here. And so I treat her as such, that she was the homemaker. She was the head. So I give her that respect and that kindness.
Were you ever told at some point in time to just keep quiet on some issues that you think you should have talked about?
I was never told by anybody, because I never talked to anybody about it. I keep it undercover. Kept my emotions and my family relationship off the street. It was just between us. We just fight with it. I spoke to my parents and I spoke to her parents. If I had issues, they were the ones I went to. The parents. My parents and her parents.
Is that all time?
95%.
They were trustworthy.
My parents, yes. And guess what they said to me? Work it out.
So that's the case.
Yes.
Work it out.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
my question is, we are told don't cry. Have you ever cried?
Lots. I cried at funerals. I cried at nights when I had problems. My pillow was wet because I asked God, why me? I felt I was Job at times, going through that problems. And I didn't know how to resolve it. I cried a lot of times and prayed a lot over it.
So it's not bad for a man to cry.
Why would it be? When your tears are coming, how are you going to stop it?
But that's society expectation.
But I don't go out in the street and cry and put my head in my head and cry to anybody. I just try not to let others see it, unless they had a reason to. When my mother died and I buried her, I was one who was putting the soil in the grave. And I broke down and cried. I mean, there was others saying, Uncle Jerry's crying, but it made no difference to me. I had to cry. That's my emotions. That's how I felt. My sister the same. I've gone here, and I sang at funerals in the city. And these people that I sing for, Dwayne, Gunter's son, Gunter's, these are people I work with, men I work with daily, that I love. And to see they're younger than me, some of them, and they've gone and the family's crying, my emotions, you have a hard time controlling those tears. Well, if people think because I'm a man I shouldn't cry, they don't really understand. They don't really understand what emotions are.
So what are you telling men?
I'm telling men that if you got to cry, cry.
Irrespective of whoever you are.
Irrespective of who is there. If your kids are there, your kids will love you even more.
For crying?
Because you're a human being.
No, you need to explain that one.
If your child falls and is crying, what do you do? Just beat him and tell him don't cry?
No.
What would you do?
You lift him up.
You lift him up. And what is your feeling towards that boy or that girl?
So you feel what he's feeling.
You're feeling what he's feeling.
Yeah.
You're feeling what he's feeling. And that child loves you even more by sharing that with him. It means that you sympathize with that child.
So
you're not beating, yeah.
Ladies who are not sharing the same emotional feelings of men, is it intentional or something they don't know?
It's hard to speak for women because they think on a different wavelength. But at the same time, it depends on the individuals. When you choose a partner, make sure you know that partner. Make sure you... I marry a woman that was from another country. We didn't know anything about each other's family. So I don't know what her background was. I learned that after, 17 years of meeting them. And they had the same emotions as I've had, and we had our arguments, yes. But as far as expressing it in a bad way, we didn't.
This issue of especially showing emotions is a very critical issue because it's today statistics in Canada shows that men commit 3 times suicide than women. What do you think runs through men mental health issues that causes them to commit suicide?
Most people believe by committing suicide they are ending the problem of others by moving out of the way. And by doing that, they don't realize that they cause more pain to the people that they leave behind. The people that they leave behind, their wives, their children, their families, it's a mark to put on them. They hurt more. They don't realize that's what they're doing. They thought that they're just relieving, moving off the scene, and that's going to resolve everything. It doesn't. I spoke to a young lady just living here, and she was explaining how many of her family members have committed suicide. And I looked at that young lady and my heart bleeds. I don't know how to reach her. I don't know how to get in her because she looks so drawn. And when you see your own sister and other family commit that type of life, I think eventually you're going to think, oh, the best way for me to do is to do it. I had a young man that worked with me. His mother shot herself. His brother shot himself as well to be with her mother. And their cousin was stabbed. And that boy worked with me. Can you imagine I was working with an atomic bomb? Because I had to, we worked together and so many times his wife and I had to back away.
Why?
Because of his flaring up, as the way he lives. And one day I had to take him and sit him down and I said, look, I treat you as my son. I respect you, but I find you to be rude and I find you to be arrogant. And so when this job is finished, let us part company in peace. And once I finished saying that and I walk away, he cried. And later on, his wife told me he cried and he came and he apologized for what he did. And we are still friends to this day.
So
we're still friends to this day.
Is it that?
It means that someone can speak to you.
Correct.
If you have a problem like that, someone can speak to you, someone can love you.
That is what I'm trying to ask that.
Yes.
Is it that the society, the people around us, is it that they are not listening to us?
They're not listening. You've got to listen to the individuals. Maybe you're not sharing it or showing it, or we're not observant enough to realize what's going on with our friend, our buddy.
Yeah.
To deal with it, because if you can see it and you can approach that individual and talk with them, you can help them to be a better person. And I've done it all my life.
Uncle Jerry, with much of your experience, what should guys do? What should men do when they are in such crisis?
They need to talk to a friend that they can trust, that they know they can trust. And between them, they'll work it out, how to deal with that issues.
Who are those trustees you're talking about?
This
Do you have a list of people that...
This person trusted me.
Yeah.
Because she knows me in the church. She knows I speak. She knows I'm a father. Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to be their parents.
Yeah.
So they came to me because they said, well, you should be able to help us. And they trusted me, and it worked. And many people have done that. Christians and non-Christians. There's 3 houses in front there of young couples that has moved in.
Yeah.
I'm a friend of all of them. We say good morning, good afternoon, and then the lady at the end there says, you're a contractor, I should come to you if I need information. Where did she find that? My son worked with her uncle years ago. But they because I'm an older individual, older man, we'll get around. You can trust Jerry. The society.
So now you're contributing to the society.
Oh yeah, big time.
We have to thank you first for the kind of contribution you're doing to society as well. And today, especially issues that are challenging to men. Mm-hmm. Now, where should men go when they find themselves in crisis at home with their wives?
You can see individuals that you know. There's always someone. We are not alone in this world.
Yeah.
There's always someone you've dealt with, someone you've seen that you have to trust. We have to trust someone.
Although we are told not to trust people, but we have to have people.
We have to be able to trust someone to confide with.
Okay.
And if you're confiding with just women, confiding with women, you're not going to solve the issue alone. Mm-hmm. You've got to trust the opposite sex sometimes. Find someone that you can trust, someone you can talk to, someone that is willing to. Because a lot of times we don't have to give an answer. All we have to do is to listen, because that individual have the answer.
Yeah.
All they need is someone who is prepared to just sit and listen to that individual's problems. You don't have to say a word. They answer themselves. They just need someone to talk to at that time. And a lot of suicides are caused because that individual had no one to sit and listen to their issues.
So it's because society is failing to...
We lack the way of communicating. We deal with texting. 2 kids sitting beside each other in the back seat of the car, and they're texting each other instead of speaking. We lack that communication skill that we should have. We do not communicate. We bottle it up inside, and we try to act it out ourselves. We need to learn to communicate. And if you cannot communicate with your partners, you've lost.
So
we're not robots. We're not robots.
Correct. In a situation where your partner is accusing, and it's like there's a heated exchange, what should the man do?
As I've said before, you have to drop the word and walk away. If you need me, honey, I'm always here. Let's talk. If you need me, I'm here. And you as a husband has to reach out too. You both have to reach out to each other. Cry on each other's shoulder.
So it's to you, if there is issues, if men are facing this challenge, the best place to go is to leave home.
Leaving home don't make it. You mean if you say just walk away and leave it home? No.
Not like leaving without coming back. You should just, so it's like, where should they go so that everything will cool down?
Even just outside sometimes.
Just to walk outside?
Just go outside and come back. I always look at these type of programs where there's confrontation. There's always a confrontation in these things. and how, stories, you said the lead bend and the story ends, and the love story always come back, and we are not in a movie. But in reality we are. Those stories, a lot of times, are real. Even though some people think, well, the star always wins. But the stories that comes out of those, if you can put yourself in that situation, you see the results can work out.
Okay. So today, when you find yourself in a place where you are advising people.
Mm-hmm.
So when do you go through some of these mental challenges?
Yes, I've gone through a lot of it. I'm 83 years old this year.
Yeah.
And I was married for 50 years. 50 to the day when my wife parted.
So when you go through such challenges today, what do you do?
You're a different generation altogether. Mm-hmm. Things are different from the way I grew up, the early training I had from my parents and others in society. Today you can still live that way, but you got to put these away and try and communicate in person.
The phone.
Yeah. These things has caused a lot of issues because we don't talk anymore. You text. Or you talk inanimate objects. Talking on a phone is not like talking face to face.
Yeah.
So you got to learn to be personal.
I see.
Yeah.
So we are trying to wrap up some of these issues that we are discussing with you. And I know in every time we are welcome to come back. But what is your advice for young guys who are coming up and having such challenges in life? And keeping the silence, emotions, and going through all this trouble and thinking of they want to do this, they want to commit suicide. And men do not speak.
No.
The least you see is they commit it.
Yes.
As compared to women. So what is your advice for young guys, young men, and even men?
Start reaching out, man. You can't bottle it up in here by yourself. You got to talk to somebody. Talk to your fellow man, your buddies. A lot of times when you're talking to them, you're not in a relationship yet. Mm-hmm. This is prior to your relationship with a woman. You two of you are buddies. You go play tennis together. Mm-hmm. You go play ping pong together, and you're talking. Talk these situations out with that individual. Instead of just playing, be human. Talk about your problems, things you're thinking of. Things you're thinking of. I've gone to Martinique more than once among a family there because I wanted to learn French. I lived with 10 kids from this family, almost right. And I lived among them for 3 weeks, 2 weeks. The longest I've stayed there was, I think it was 3 weeks each time. And I see the problem that exists among that family. I dealt with some of it with them. Because I'm a stranger and I'm not going to be there, some of the men were open with me in their relationship. Mm-hmm. Some of the women were open with me with their relationships. He wasn't the man he wasn't my first choice. And so we talked about it. That was what one of the ladies said. One of the guys said, well, I divorced my first wife. And I asked why. And we discuss it. And we talk to each other. They speak to me because I am not going to be there, wanting to know how I feel, what would they have done, and what they should do. And we talk about it. I'm hoping that when I leave there, that at least they feel better about what they've said and what they're going to do. You got to talk. Talk to your buddies, not the ones that are telling you to be a macho and knock them down. Don't talk to those. If that's the way they feel, you don't need them. Because you need a relationship in which you can bring up your children, your generation after you. with the morals and the cultures you've got and your abilities. You need that type of person. Life is a journey that has to be pursued with love, courtesy, and respect. Love, courtesy, and respect. Respect for the opposite sex. Respect for your fellow men. And if we can take that.
No, anyway, we will thank you very much for your response and answers and your views that you've shared with us. I know it's something heavy. Of course, it's not one day we can use to finish this. There's a lot that we want to ask.
You can come back and add to it if you have to.
We have had some series of interviews again with other people in Calgary, so we can have partner with this as well. But this issue is very heavy to talk about.
It is a hard subject, yes, and no.
So it's a big issue that we take it in pieces from different angles, and then we see, especially to see, because we want men to rethink again.
Yeah,
it's not as we are told almost every time.
No.
We have to come out in a different way.
We got so many psychologists or psychiatrists these days that they tend to think by probing your mind, but they don't have the answers. They don't. They were educated in the university and they are channeled that way, but really they don't have the answers. None of us have the answers. You've got to deal with people, not books.
Well, that is Uncle Jerry's comments. You got to deal with people, not books.
Yeah.
Experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
Well, we will also entreat our viewers to have time to watch this video and pick out the pieces you think is for you. And so we will come back again for him. And let me remind you to subscribe to our channel and share with a friend to listen to the knowledge and the wisdom in this interview. We will come back to him again. And thank you very much for watching.